Welcome to the AdHardCo YouTube channel where we share tactical advice to help you grow your small business and as an entrepreneur. I am Brighton Udy, and today we are talking about small business websites. We're in the 2020s. That's where we're living. Everything is practically online. Every small business practically has a website, but the majority of those websites aren't actually that effective. And so today we're going to be talking about the mistakes that small businesses make. The majority of those mistakes are very easily remedied. And then we're going to talk about what makes a great small business website. I'm going to give you 3 quick tips near the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. That is really going to help immediately transform and make your website more effective today. And then I'm going to tell you what my favorite resource and website development platform is that we use with the majority of our clients and why. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to talk about are the main mistakes that small businesses make with their websites. Especially right now. At the time I'm releasing this video, I believe we're 6 to 8 months into the COVID pandemic. And so many businesses have had to actually transfer and innovate and move their businesses online. But if you don't have a really great web experience for your purchasers, your customers, your visitors, your audience, you're not going to make as many sales. Plain and simple. We need to make it as simple, as elegant, and as user-friendly as possible to ensure that we provide a great experience from landing on your homepage to checking out and receiving their product. So, what are some of the biggest mistakes that small businesses make with their websites? The first and probably most common is there is way too much text on their website. They are really confusing their customers. They're talking about things that aren't relevant to them. They're pumping their own tires instead of articulating the problems that they solve for their perfect customers. And they're laying all of that information out in a way that is just overwhelming. You land on the page, you don't know where to look, you don't know what to read, you don't know what's a priority, you don't know what pertains to you. So that is the biggest mistake. So many websites that I visit for small businesses have way too much text on them. So the first thing, big mistake, too much text. The second one is they talk too much about themselves. Your website isn't a place where you pump your own tires, you toot your own horn, and tell everybody why you're so great. That's not what your website is for. What your website is actually for is to communicate the problem that you solve, how you solve it, and what your perfect customer's life is going to look like after you work with them. That is the purpose of your website. Somebody refers you to their friend needs to get more information. The first place that they're going to go is Google, probably, so have Google My Business set up. But then also they're going to visit your website to get more information. And when they land there, they want to know who you are, what you do, what problem you solve for them, how you're going to solve it, and what their life is going to look like after they do business with you. So that's what you need to communicate. Stop talking so much about yourself on your website and start to focus the attention on your perfect customer. What problem you solve for them, how you solve it, and on what their life is going to look like after. That's really what we want to focus on. And that really is one of the biggest mistakes that I see small businesses make on their website. The third mistake that I see made all the time is that small businesses, more often than not, don't actually call their perfect customer to action on their website. What they do is they talk about all of these great things that they do, but they don't lead their customer to a purchase or to a free quote or to a contact form. They don't give them the first step in order to engage with your company. And this is a big mistake. We need our hands held. We are always in the back of our minds. We have this little doubt voice in the back of our head going, I don't know if I need that, or I don't know if this is the right organization. We need to counter that. We need to counter that by going, we believe in our products and our services so much that you need to take this action right now, connect with us, and we're going to help you solve that problem. You need to be that confident in your products and services. And the best way to do that is to give a very clear and consistent call to action on your website. What we need to do is have a clear call to action on that button that immediately tells that perfect customer what action they need to take in order to hire you, in order to place an order. What that might look like is schedule your free call. That is what ours is on the At Heart Co. website. We do free branding sessions, so if that's something that you're interested in, we do a free branding strategy call and really get an idea of what your brand is like right now and what type of changes that you need to make in order to really help grow your business. So that is our specific, clear, consistent call to action. We have it littered throughout our website. So what that looks like is a button that says, schedule my free call. That is an example. Another example would be buy. If you look at Apple's website and you're perusing and customizing your products, I did this for my iPad. If you are on that page and you're already in the mix of the product, you need to have the buy button there. Once they click on that, it takes them to a page where they can configure their product and they can go to the checkout. It needs to be clear and it needs to be easily accessible. So you need to be able to present it in multiple different places on your website, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And the final mistake that I often see small businesses make on their website is they organize their information in an ineffective way. I've seen so many websites that have a slideshow as the banner that flips automatically. That doesn't really help. It's distracting. And the thing is oftentimes you have a different message on each one of those slides, which starts to get confusing. We go back to our too much text conversation. You want to make sure you're telling a consistent story and leading your perfect customer through that story on your webpage. So organizing the information in sections is the most effective way to do that. But most businesses don't. They have, a bar over here, and they have their blog over here, and they have updates over here, and they have products and services over here. We need to lay it out in a very simple format. If you think of the experience that you just had on your last website, did you read every single word? I bet you that you didn't. You scrolled, you scanned, you went through and your brain tried to conserve calories and pick out the information that was actually pertinent and important to you, without you actually having to work very hard to find that information. It's the age we live in, it's how we're wired, so we need to organize the information in a way that is the most effective for our visitors on our sites. So those are the biggest mistakes. Those are the biggest mistakes that I often see. So if you feel like you've made one of those common mistakes, don't feel bad. I've done it before, and it's very easy to make those mistakes. But what I'm going to tell you next is how to fix those and what makes a really great website. So the first thing that actually makes a very great website is the copy or the text on the website is incredibly clear and straight to the point. One of my favorite songwriters of all time is John Mayer. Every lyric that John Mayer uses is perfectly placed within that song. And I want your copy on your website, every word, to be perfectly placed on your website. It's not as complicated as it sounds, and you shouldn't feel so much pressure in order to do that. We actually run through that structure and how to lay that out on our Brand Clarity Masterclass online course, which I will put down in the description if you'd like to check out the online course that we provide, so you can actually build the copy for your website. But the best way to do that is through the headers. Like I mentioned earlier, we are always scanning websites. We're not actually reading them. So what we're scanning for is the bold text. That is actually what we read, and it takes us an instant in order to do that. So what is the header that is on your landing page? If it's clear, direct to the point, communicates who you're helping, the problem that you're solving, and how you're helping them, you are miles ahead of everybody else. You're miles ahead of your competition, likely, because you're clearly articulating who you help, how you're helping them, and what you're helping them with. So that is the best section That is the most important section, is that landing page. We call it the above the fold, right? Before you start scrolling down, what is the first thing that they see? So you want to clearly articulate and communicate who you're helping, how you're helping them, and what you're helping them solve. Then as you scroll down, the headers can start to articulate the problems in a little bit more detail. They can start to articulate the products, the services, the process, the testimonials, all of those supplementary pieces that actually help within the sales process. So that is the best way to really communicate on your website, is through those clear headers. That's what makes a really great small business website. The next is a call to action. You want to have your call to action littered throughout your page. The other thing that makes a really great website is a consistent call to action. If you are telling somebody to buy now and book here and register now, all on the same page, you're giving somebody too many options. It's like going to a restaurant with 100 items on the menu. You never know what to pick, and we call this decision fatigue. You start to think of what action you really want to take, and then you just end up taking no action at all. So we want to give your visitors one action to take. One action. Do we want them to book an appointment? Do we want them to schedule a call? Do we want them to register now? Do we want them to buy the product? Whatever it is, make it focused. Don't give them too many calls to action. It's very important. The next thing that makes a really great website is actually taking all that text away and offering a lot of white space. Our brains don't want to be overloaded. And if we visit a web page that has a lot of white space, it's very clean, it's very organized, our brains don't have to work very hard to figure out where we're supposed to be looking, we are going to be so much more successful, because our audience and our visitors will actually know where to click. They will know where to scroll. And by providing all that white space, it gives a more relaxed and more calming web browsing experience. So that's another thing that small business websites can do in order to create a really great website experience. And finally, the last thing that makes a small business website really, really effective is a soft commitment option. If somebody lands on the page, they're doing some research and they're not quite ready to make an offer, purchase a product or engage in a service, you want to give them an option to stay in touch with you, maybe learn a little bit more, get a little bit more information without having to actually pay for it. The best way to do this is through a free PDF, an ebook, a free resource that you can offer them in exchange for their email address. Somebody's email address is worth about $15 to $20 to them. So you need to be offering about $15 to $20 worth of value for free so that they will give you their email address and you can continue to connect with them and email them and stay in contact with them. Now, if you're sitting there and going, what can I do right now to make my website better? I'm going to give you 3 quick tips right now to make your website immediately better that you can implement right now after watching this video. The first thing that you can do right now is minimize the text on your homepage. If you show your homepage to a friend, one of your kids, or your spouse, and they don't actually know what you do, and they can't actually figure that out by just viewing your homepage, you need to rewrite your homepage. If you have too much writing and you don't know where to look and you find it a little confusing and overwhelming when you land on the website, you need to remove the text. You need to strip it down to the bare essentials and clearly communicate those top points that really make your business great, what problem you solve for your customers, how you solve it, the process, all of that kind of stuff. That needs to be the focus. Strip away all the unnecessary text. That is the first thing that you can do right now to make your website better. The second one is make sure you have a clear call to action. And I'm going to tell you specifically where to put that call to action so that that button gets clicked more times. Where you need to put it is in the top right corner and right in the middle of your homepage. Yes, you heard that right. You want to have 2 call to actions within eyesight when you land on the page. You want your button to be a different color. You want it to stand out, and you want it to be in the top right corner and right in the middle of the page. Oftentimes when we land on websites, there have also been studies about this. We scan the website in a Z pattern. So typically when we land on the website, our eyes start at the top left, they transfer over to the top right, they Z down to the bottom right corner, and then they move over to the bottom right corner. Sorry, it does a Z. We want to have our logo up there, boom, call to action. Scroll down, boom, right in the middle of the page as we pull down through the Z, call to action. We need to hear things as humans about 7 to 8 times in order for us to actually comprehend consciously what we are reading or what we're being asked to do. So think about where you're putting your calls to action and make sure they're the same. So call to action top right corner, call to action middle, and then sprinkle it in, even in every single section if you have to, as you scroll down your homepage. So that's the second thing. Make sure you have a clear call to action. It's in the top right corner, middle of the page, and scrolling down in each section as well. Now, the third and final thing that you can do right now to make your website that much better is create a lead generating offer, whether that be a PDF, a free video, something that you can offer for free that in exchange you receive your visitor's email address. This allows you to market to them. And it also shows that they are an actual qualified lead. They want to learn more about your business. They want to learn more about the problem that you solve. And you are offering them an opportunity to learn more and stay engaged with your business. So think about what that could be for you. This is not necessarily the quickest tip to implement right away, but it might be the most valuable tip that you implement out of this entire video. So think about what your PDF will be, what your offer will be, and implement that and create a lead capture form on your website so that you can offer that, send it to them, and then also engage with them moving forward. Now we're going to talk about my favorite platform that I use and you can use in order to implement all of these tips and tricks that I've talked about in this video thus far. It is Squarespace. This video is not sponsored by Squarespace, but Squarespace, if you want to sponsor it, sweet, awesome. But it's not. I will have an affiliate link that you can actually look at the description below, and you can start your Squarespace web development journey by clicking on the link in the description below. But this video is not sponsored by them. But let's dig into the reasons why I love Squarespace and why I think it's the best platform for 80% of small businesses out there. The thing with Squarespace is they give you a lot of opportunity to customize without allowing you to make things too busy. They are the masters at organizing content in a very simple, easy to use way. So Squarespace is by far the best example. And here are some of my favorite features of the Squarespace platform. The first is that it's simple and easy to use. We as At Heart will actually design and build Squarespace websites for our clients and hand them over so that they can update and tweak them as they go. So they don't actually need us to go in and make an update and change this or code that. They're able to go, change the copy, upload a file, upload a new image, update a blog. They can do that all on their own. So Squarespace is the best tool in order to do that. Another thing I love about Squarespace is they actually allow you to integrate external apps and third-party apps such as Zapier and MailChimp. They do a really good job of creating forms that can be directed other places so that you can store that information outside of Squarespace. Squarespace also does offer some email subscriptions and email marketing solutions, but I prefer my other platform, and I actually use Zapier to connect that form on Squarespace to my mail delivery system. Squarespace also allows you to create some custom code and use HTML and CSS, all of that custom coding stuff to build certain design elements within your website. We do that as well. The At Heart Co website is actually a Squarespace website. but we've been able to implement some custom code to make it unique and better the visitor experience. We also have the ability on Squarespace to have different contributors within the platform. So if you have somebody writing your blog and you have your website team and you have your content creation team, they can all have access to the same site and contribute together in order to make your site successful. And finally, the last thing I love about Squarespace is it's affordable. You don't have to break the bank. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars creating a high quality website. You can do it literally over a weekend, if not in an afternoon. You could create a very breathtaking, effective, clear, eye-catching website that gathers leads, makes sales, and makes you look like a pro by just following and using this platform. So you can implement everything that I've talked about in this video on Squarespace. It's super, super great. I honestly recommend it to nearly every single client unless they're looking for something really customizable and really custom, or they're building a massive e-commerce website, which I prefer to steer them towards Shopify. But Squarespace is an amazing solution for like 80% of small businesses. It gets the job done and it works. It works really well. So if you would like to sign up for Squarespace, I'm going to put a referral link in the description and you can actually follow that link and sign up for Squarespace today. I highly recommend it if you haven't built a website or you're trying to transition and find a better place to host your website or a better platform to use. Squarespace is it. Sign up for Squarespace. Trust me, you're gonna love it. And I will see you next week right here on the YouTube channel for At Heart, where we will share more tactical advice to help you grow your small business and as an entrepreneur.